Hi everyone, my name is Katherine Paterson. I am the education librarian at UVU's Fulton Library, and today we're going to be talking about how to do research in children's literature using library resources. I'll give you a quick overview of library resources, including the Education Research Guide and the Children's Literature Collection here at the UVU Library. We'll talk about teaching books and how to find book reviews. Finally, we'll talk about finding literary criticism. Before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you have any trouble accessing library resources, you have a variety of options available to you. You can contact me directly. I love hearing from education students. My email is listed below, and you can give me a call as well. We also have reference options more generally available from the library. Our reference desk on the first floor of the Fulton Library is closed for the semester. You can still call us, text us, or chat with us live. So here we are at the UVU Fulton Library homepage. You can see that all of our options to contact a librarian are right here at the right side of the screen. What I'm going to start with showing you today is going to be the Education Research Guide. So when we start our research into certain fields that we're not familiar with or that we're new to researching at a college level, these research guides are going to be your best bet for finding the resources you need. They organize our databases and other resources into categories that make sense and kind of provide more context for how or why you would use those resources. So if we click on Education and then click on the Education Guide, you can see that we have a guide to doing research in education at very different levels, so from early childhood to higher education, and then a few special topics like special education and educational leadership. First thing to know about this guide is that it does have my contact information. You are always welcome to schedule a virtual appointment with me. You can also email me or call me if you ever need help. I would love to hear from you. On our homepage, we have the most used resources in the field of education. This can sometimes be helpful just because they're pretty general resources, but because education is so specialized and because early education is vastly different from higher education, I'd recommend actually delving into these tabs and finding the resources which are more specific to the subject that you're studying. First, I do want to show you that we have search strategies. So when we're using databases, they use very specific language and very specific ways of searching. We put quotation marks around search terms that are phrases, so words that we want to stay together, like higher education, not just higher grades for better education, but higher education as a term. We also use them around titles of works, like A History of American Higher Education or Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. We can use them around the names of authors as well. We connect our search terms in very different ways, depending on what we're looking for. The most commonly used one is and. So if we're looking for two different concepts, but we want to make sure that all of our articles have those two concepts within them, like sex education and secondary education and Utah, that's three different concepts, but we connect them with and to make sure that all of our resources have all three of those terms. All right, let's get into some resources. So for early childhood and elementary education, this guide is organized kind of by the ways in which you might use something. So we have our most used databases for finding articles about early childhood and elementary education. So those scholarly resources from things like ERIC and Education Full Text. We have journals and other publications which may be useful to you for learning more about the field or finding those scholarly resources. And then we have our resources for actually teaching K through 12 students and our children's collection. The Fulton Library Children's Collection has thousands of children's books. It's located on the third floor of the library, and some of those books can also be found in the general collection if we're thinking about YA. So you might find a copy of The Hunger Games in the children's collection, and you might find it in the general stacks. If you're not finding what you're looking for, please feel free to ask me, and I can tell you where it's located. But those books are available to you all to check out, whether for personal use, if you're feeling nostalgic, or in your instruction and research. So the resource that we're going to be talking about most today is Teachingbooks.net. This tool is available by subscription through UVU. So you can see that we have our little Welcome to Utah Valley University up here and our UVU Welcome to Teaching Books right here. A lot of the resources within Teaching Books are not available through a free account. So if you were to just Google Teaching Books, you would not have the same access to resources that you would if you went through the library. So always make sure you're clicking on Teaching Books from either the research guide or the database list, which I'll show you a little bit later. So this is a really powerful tool, and it brings together collections of books and resources about those books for teachers and students like yourself to create lessons based on different books. So if we know what we're looking for, like let's say Dear Martin by Nick Stone, we can go ahead and type that into the search bar, and we can see that it's our first result. If we click on the title, we can see a couple of different things. We see that this book has 31 total resources, and if we scroll down, we can open these little tabs to see what those resources are. So we have original resources from Teaching Books, which you would not be able to access if you would just come to Teaching Books from Google or something else if you had just typed in the URL. But we also have these author interviews that have been aggregated from different resources. We have book guides, activities, and lessons that others have created. Because this book is a little newer, we don't have a lot of activities and lessons, but with some of the older books, you have like 30 or so things that have been aggregated from around the web. We also have a book trailer, which is always fun, and then we can see the awards and distinctions for this book. Another really useful thing about Teaching Books is that you can view the text complexity, and they use a variety of standards to analyze the complexity of this text. So we have our grade band, we have our Lexile level, we have all sorts of different resources, and we also have these qualitative measures, which can be very, very, very helpful. So we have like the level of vocabulary within the book, the level of life experiences within the book, and then we also have kind of the grades in which Dear Martin is most commonly assigned, and they crowdsource this from different educators who complete these rubrics to help assign some of these text complexity measures to the book. If we don't know what book we're looking for, or if we just want to browse the collection of really fabulous books within Teaching Books, we can click on Browse and then see all of the collections by which these books are organized. So we have basic things like grade level, we have the curricular area to which this book relates, we have genres, and then we have these really great cultural areas as well. This is fantastic for finding own voices books or books written by people of color. I've had tons of questions about that this summer. The other thing besides these collections that we can find are going to be the awards and distinctions. So we have lists of different awards. This is going to be very helpful for your assignment. I know you guys are looking for Newbery Book Award books, but I'm going to go ahead and just click on the JLG selections, and we can see the selections from each year. They're organized according to number of resources. We can go ahead and change that to year published to kind of see the most recent award winners in different categories from JLG. So JLG picks a lot of different books every year. So you can see there's like a mystery and adventure selection, an emergent selection. Some of our awards are a little bit more basic in that they only pick one winner every year. The nice thing about this resource is that it knows, because we're Utah Valley University, that we're also within Utah. So you can go ahead and click on Utah lists, and then they have all the other state and province lists as well. But we can see our Beehive Book Awards. This resource can help you find some of those books that are highly awarded. So I know you guys are looking for Newbery, so you'll just have to scroll on down and find where that is in this list. I promise you'll find it. It's pretty easy. So we're back on the Fulton Library homepage. So if we wanted to go ahead and find a book which we found in Teachingbooks and would like to read, actually find a copy of within the library collection, we can go ahead and tab on over to books. And you can see that you can search by keyword, title, or author. So keyword is going to help if you're just searching for books in general about a certain topic. Title, we can go ahead and type in something like, let's say, holes. This was one of my favorite books when I was in like 4th grade, so I'm just going to go ahead and look for holes, hoping that I find Holes by Louis Sachar, and it looks like I have. We have a copy in Fulton Library's main collection, and then if I keep scrolling, I will eventually, find the one that's in the children's collection. You can check out either of these books. It doesn't matter which. So that was how you search for books and ebooks. If we want to search for works about our books, so works of literary criticism or book reviews, you could go ahead and click on one search. Then let's just type in Dear Martin in quotes, making sure that these two words stay together. I'm just doing a keyword search because I'm not looking for the title of an article or the author of an article. I just want works about Dear Martin. So I can go ahead and use one search, which will pull together all of our books, ebooks, book reviews, works of literary criticism, videos, basically anything that we have access to via the library about our topic. So go ahead and click search. And I just discovered that we don't actually have a copy of this book in our collection, which I'll have to fix. I think there might be one on order, but we can see that we have some periodicals, some reviews, some news. There hasn't really been too much scholarly work or works of literary criticism about this book yet because it was published so recently, but we can see the types of sources. If we go ahead and click on show more under source type, we can see all the different types of sources on our topic and just about how many resources there are in those source types. So we have 8 academic journals if we wanted to go ahead and look for those works of literary criticism. And it looks like some of them are reviews, but this one looks pretty interesting. This Black Lives Matter When Real Life and YA Fiction Converge. If we wanted to learn more about that, we could go ahead and click on this little magnifying glass and read the subjects, and if there was an abstract, it would appear here as well. If we're interested in looking at reviews, we can unclick our academic journals and just click into those 67 reviews, and that will update our search to only show reviews. This can be a little testy because some of those reviews are printed in periodicals. So newspapers like the LA Times will often have book reviews. The New York Times will have book reviews as well. So if you're not really finding what you want in reviews, you may want to come and click on news as well. But it looks like we have a decent number of reviews. And if we wanted to go ahead and read one, what we could do is click on the title. And we're going to see the subjects, the publication information. It looks like this one comes from Horn Book Magazine. If I scroll down, I actually have the HTML text of the article, but most often you're going to want to look at a PDF. So the PDF full text, you can just go ahead and click on that. And you can see the book review as it would appear in Horn Book Magazine. It's got images, and it's all formatted nicely. It's got the name of the author. You can just see the couple of pages that it spanned. Okay, what happens if we're not ready to finish our research and write our paper, but we want to be able to get back to this book review? We can do a couple things. We can email ourselves a copy of the book review. You can see that it will attach to the PDF as a separate attachment. I can just put the email that I used for my research in the email too, make some comments about how I might want to use it, and go ahead and send that to myself. I can also cite this article or get a database-generated citation in APA or MLA format. You can see that there are some errors with this citation, namely the capitalization right here, but this is going to be a pretty good start. So you'll have to check these, but they'll help you get started with your citations. The final thing I want to show you is very important. It's the permalink. So this is a permanent and stable link back to this page it will always bring you back to this page, and you can just go ahead and copy that permalink, and you'll always be able to find your way back here. The link in the address bar is a temporary link that will break in about an hour because it has all of your search session information. So always copy the permalink, never copy the link in the address bar when you're using OneSearch. At times, you will find an article that does not have PDF full text. Rather, it'll have this full text finder link. And that link will just try and get you to a different database in which this book review is contained. If this link ever breaks, or if you can't find the full text using Full Text Finder, please contact us. The chat is going to be over here on the side of your search, as well as being on that homepage of Fulton Library. The final thing I want to show you all is our list of databases. I showed you the Education Research Guide because it gives more context to the databases that we use in the field of education, why we use them, how we use them, when we use them. But you can also just go to the full list of databases, narrow by subject down to education, and you can see some top choices, but just a general list of all of the databases we use. So Teachingbooks.net will be down here at the bottom under T. We've also got ERIC, Educators Reference Complete, all sorts of different resources. We do have a book review index available from Gale, which can be helpful for you in completing this assignment. All right, everyone, that concludes our recorded session for today. Remember that you are always free to email me, make an appointment to meet with me virtually, or contact a librarian at the reference desk. Thank you so much for watching this, and please let me know if you have any questions. Good luck with your research.